When I met you, did I tell you I was in the first gig I ever got? This is what I mean. You're in the thing you don't appreciate. I was in a dinner theater show called The Sopranos, and it was a spoof of the Sopranos.
Really?
It was a
No,
comedy
I didn't even know
spoof.
they did that.
Not today, pal. Not today.
What?
You said you have a whole agenda of things you want to talk
Yeah,
about?
we could talk about anything.
No. I want to know what your agenda is.
Well, you will. That's the show.
It's the fun. When we don't have a guest, I sit where you're sitting, and I have no idea where he's taking it. It's the
Really?
best.
But just so people know what's going on, this is our guest Joe DeRosa, and he sat down. The first thing he said was,
Oh,
"Wow,
big fans in here
Yeah.
for you.
Does everybody get that clap?
No.
Oh, no?
kind of."
No, yeah, it's not special now.
What happened was you sat down. The first thing you said was, "I don't want to be disrespectful." The first thing, but you said you hate the show. You hate Sopranos.
Here's what I said. I have a movie podcast. We'll see you in hell. We have been doing it for 10 years, roughly. And for 10 years, I've been arguing with my co-host about The Sopranos. And I felt like if I came on this show, and I said it off air to be respectful.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
did.
Appreciate it.
I
Thanks.
said if I came on this show and didn't at least mention it, I feel like I wasn't being honest.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
felt like I was going to be in here like, oh, gosh, guys, I'm a big
No.
old fan.
Yeah, right.
And
You did the right thing.
That's how I got the job here. I did it to Tom and Christina. I pretended to be a fan of your mom's house. Yeah, I was like, "Oh my God, you guys are so great!" And they gave me the job. I'm like, "Peace."
But you've never watched the show.
I've never watched a show, and she's only seen 5 seasons,
4.
4 seasons, or something.
Well, that's a
like
lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of episodes.
That's only
Yeah,
half.
it's a lot of
Yeah.
episodes.
Was it 8
It
seasons?
was 7.
Seven.
I thought it was, oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, that's a lot of.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a lot
I watched a
to see.
good chunk of it.
Yeah. I never watch anything I've ever been in ever. But I've never been on a show the way you guys were on that show.
I didn't watch it until COVID, when everybody else started watching it or
So you
watching
watched
it again.
when it
I
was
tried to
on.
watch it during COVID.
You tried to give it another
You
shot?
tried to hate watch it?
No, it wasn't a hate watch. I
what
don't want
ti-
to make it sound like I'm hating.
No, this
You're
is
not.
good. People
And
always
also-
love this show. It's good. It took
And-
us a while to find someone who doesn't like it.
We were wondering where you were. But I'm just like, I'm curious as to like
How dumb you
why,
are.
Why?
She wants to know how stupid you are. Is basically what she's saying.
What is it? What is it about the show that you're like, it's just not for me?
I didn't.
I have no problem that it's not for you.
It didn't. I didn't. When I first saw it, which was when I was in. First of all, let me just say this. I have a thing where if everybody is telling me something's amazing, I immediately, as soon as I'm already sitting
That's like
down,
Rob.
going
Sometimes.
like, all right, you know. So then when I saw it, I started it wrong. I kind of came in like 4th season. I think the first
Oh,
episode I saw
wait a
was when
minute.
Tony was imagining the woman at the remember the one
In
where he
Italy?
like, where he imagines the woman
I
that's
never
not
watched
there.
it.
Are you don't even know the storyline.
I know some stuff, but I don't remember like Tony Imagination.
Is it in Italy?
It was there. I forget, but he's like somewhere and he's like there's
That's
a woman.
terrible episode to start with.
So that's what
Terrible.
everybody said. And then I was like, yeah. And then I watched the finale. And I liked the finale.
You did.
I did like the
So
finale.
you're the opposite of everybody else. You hated the show, loved the finale.
I liked the finale. And I was like, and everybody was online the next day like, what the fuck? God damn it. You know, and I was like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of cool. I like cut to black and like you don't know if he's going to live or I don't know. I
Yeah.
thought
Well,
that
because
was
they
cool.
had you on the
whole-
rope for 45 minutes. They had these other people on the rope for 10 years, and then they
Yeah.
faded to black. So
Well,
I think the people who 10 years were a little more
People get
upset.
too hung up in their TV shows. It's, you know what I mean?
I'm guilty of that. For
People
sure.
get too hung up. I remember when we watched when season, because the new season just came out, but when we watched season 1 of True Detective, it was before you could binge.
So good.
And they were putting out an episode a week, and we were like, oh my God. And like that
Yes.
finale of that first season was not great. And I remember my friend Adam Stein said, he saw the finale before I did. And I texted him. I was like, what was it like? And he was like, I think we all might have made True Detective a little more than it actually was. And then when I saw the finale, I was like, oh, it's not bad. It's just a show. It's just a TV show. And like, that was my first experience with, you're writing your own thing in your head.
Of course.
And then when the crew, team, whatever, doesn't deliver that, you feel betrayed or whatever. And then you're like, I'm not betrayed. I just was writing my own thing.
So have you never watched Sopranos? Is this what we're getting at?
Oh no. So I did like the finale, And then I went back, and everybody's like, well, the finale sucks, and the show is better than that, and all that stuff. So now I'm really like, you know, in my attitude. No, because now I'm like, now you're telling me the thing I saw of it that I liked, it wasn't good, and the other stuff I've missed is, and so there was probably no chance of me enjoying it. But during COVID, I tried to watch it, and I got
from episode 1.
I did. I started with episode 1. I got about halfway through the first, and I was like, I'm not feeling this. But then a year later, last year, not even, maybe 6 months ago, my co-host Pat Walsh on We'll See You in Hell said, he said, you know it's supposed to be kind of funny, right? And I was like, no, it is? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I missed that because I was like watching it and being like, Italian people would never be mad at Starbucks. What do they, you know what I mean? Like I was like really, and he was like, no, that's supposed to be like funny. And I was like, all right, I think I just missed the boat entirely. I think I wasn't where I needed to be when this came out. I think I wasn't like in the zone of TV that I needed to be in when this came out. And then I tried to go back and watch it. And it's like trying to go back and like, I've never seen Top Gun. And
Don't.
The original?
never.
The OG
Oh,
one?
the original is
Maverick.
great. Maverick is the biggest trash movie of all time.
But if you really, people said it was amazing.
But that's what she was
I
saying
can't
that I
talk about this
I have
again.
the same thing about when people really
how
like
mad
stuff.
she is.
I don't
we
like stuff
spent
love it.
so much time talking about how much he
because
hates
everybody wants
Top
to
Gun.
challenge me.
It got
Everybody wants
picked
to
up on news outlets.
Wait, hold on, just so
Jamie,
you know.
go ahead.
We have set up a thing for people to send in voice mails or whatever, which is it's a great time to drop it. 512-387-1880. The only voice notes we get are Rob's a fucking idiot. Top Gun was awesome because I think it was.
They're going to be saying somebody else is an idiot now.
Thank
Now
you.
that I said I didn't
Yeah,
like
I paid you off to say Sopranos sucks. That's good. But here's the deal. I also am a huge fan of like 90 Day Fiance. So I'm not somebody who, if everybody like likes stuff and it's popular, I don't like it. But just when everybody's like, Top Gun is the best movie, Top Gun's the best, and then you see it and it was all awful.
Right.
And it was nominated for an Oscar. Listen, that was my take. It wasn't that Top Gun was so bad. It was when you nominated for an Oscar for best film. And then I go see it and it's cotton candy. Like it was bad.
Well, that's okay.
That's how you feel about Sopranos.
There's just,
Wow.
No, there's just moments where it's like everyone's like, oh my God, you know, he had to whack. he had to whack his daughter's golf instructor, you know?
Yeah,
like,
right.
I'm like, guys, all right. I mean, come on with this.
And when I watched it for the first time, I was surprised how funny it was.
Okay.
So that, like, I went into it obviously with a very different perspective than you, but I was like, oh God, I didn't even realize how funny it was.
It's. I think if I said to my co-host I would maybe give it another shot with the knowing that it's funny in mind and try to do it that way now.
Yeah.
But it's also just a gargantuan task at this point. It's
Yes,
so
I was
much
gonna say,
television to
this
watch.
is like-
I've never seen one episode of Breaking Bad. I never saw one episode of Better Call Saul, including the ones I was in. The only episodes of the show I ever saw were the ones at the premiere each season. That was it. I've never seen one episode of The Wire.
Me neither.
See, I
Yeah.
kind of sometimes feel like there are certain shows where you miss your time. And like
Yeah.
I recently tried to watch The Wire and I was just like, man, this is slow.
So
like
dated?
it was just so slow. And like I really felt like I was pushing myself and I was like right now, I am so into Fargo. I don't know if you watch Fargo.
I watched season 2. It was incredible.
Season
but I
5
haven't seen.
is fireworks.
I heard it's nuts. Yeah.
Awesome.
I
It's
heard it's
so
nuts.
good. And I'm really wrapped up in there. And it's like, it feels like a ball rolling downhill. Like, I'm like, I want to get home just to watch the thing. Where like The Wire, I felt like I was pushing this ball up a hill, man.
Yeah, it's.
And I
Don't
know
you
it's
think
great.
our brains were different back then? Like there were no
Oh, for
smartphones back
sure.
then. There was no
Yeah.
like, you know, we were able to like sit with things and watch things. Now things lose your interest so fast.
You're right. I feel that a lot with, like, I collect video game. Wait, did I tell you? Sorry, I'm all over the place.
No, this
Yeah.
is great.
This is what we do.
Did I tell you that when I met you? Did I tell you I was in the first gig I ever got in a? This is what I mean. You're in the thing you don't appreciate. I was in a dinner theater show called The Sopranos, and it was a spoof of the Sopranos.
Really?
It was a
No, I
comedy
didn't even know
spoof.
they did that.
Well, it's probably not legal.
Right, yeah. But we would have heard, you'd think we would have heard, like, oh, there's this thing in
Dinner theater.
Was it in New York
I love
City?
it.
It was spelled, no, it was in the Philadelphia area.
Oh,
it was spelled
wow.
different.
The big time.
Yeah.
Dinner theater in Philly.
Yeah. It was my first gig. It was called the Soap. It was like the Soprano. It was
Yeah.
spelled differently.
Yeah.
I'm sure for copyright reasons. But it was a dinner theater show. It was sort of musical. There was a few musical numbers, but it was like during the Tony and Tina's
Yeah.
wedding craze.
And what's the other? They did other stuff like, so people who don't know what Tony and Tina's and that shit is, it's like a show where you're part of the show. Like you
It's
go.
interactive.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
so you're
this-
like attending the wedding and you figure it out, but you don't know who's like a paid audience member or actually a cast member. You're
Right.
all intertwined with each
Who's
other.
just there drunk. Like,
Right.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. So my friend Kyla, who I'm still friends with, played you.
Oh my gosh.
She actually helped me find my house. She's
Really?
in real estate. Yeah. She helped me find my house. My
Not
friend,
everyone in Philly
Who did you play?
theater group made it. Just you.
I didn't make it. If I'm the best of the bunch,
Look, they're watching Better Call Saul. They're like, I used to do Sopranos with them.
I never played a real character. I played characters they made up for the show.
Okay.
So when you first started, you had to be a henchman. That was like the entry
Oh,
level.
you worked your
position.
way up. I love this.
Yeah, and so I was a guy named Salmonella. I mean, come on.
I mean, no wonder you hate Sopranos. You were like, this is like torture.
I
Yeah.
was like, who writes this shit? This David Chase is a hack. Salmonella. If you were a henchman, you had to do table work. Well, everybody had to do table work, but the henchmen really had to. The guys that played like the actual family had to do less of the interaction. Like in the beginning of the show, at the top of the show, like when everybody was being sat and getting their drink orders, like if you were one of the henchmen, you really had to go work the tables. And I was starting stand up at the same time, and I got this thing, and it was like it pays $75 a show, and I was like, this is amazing, like this is incredible.
Yeah.
I couldn't even fathom making money doing something like that. And I did it because I was like, it's going to help me to learn how to think on my feet as a stand-up. And it did. Honestly, it really did. But then I got promoted, and I played this character named Petey, who was the gay cousin, it's not on the show. And it was just be as flamboyantly, effeminately gay as you could possibly be. And I think at the end of the show, he turns out to be the rat that sets Tony up to get killed. I can't remember.
Wow.
But I made some lifelong friends doing it. I mean, it was an experience. But the best,
It sounds a lot like our experience doing Sopranos.
yes,
Yeah, here we are.
We made some good.
Not as high-
Yeah,
not
we
as
made some good
highbrow.
friends. Yeah.
I know. Oh my God. So the
You were never set up properly to enjoy the show. Not that I'm saying that you have to enjoy the show.
Watch it
or
with
it's
us. We'll come over.
I'll watch it with
we'll
you.
Now
make some
he's willing to watch it. This
Oh
is the only.
Guys,
He's
wait a
never
minute.
ever. I've tried to get him to watch it, and now he's willing to with you. This is amazing.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Wait,
minute.
are you a chef?
I'm about to pitch you something right
Are you
now.
a chef? Hold on. Are you a chef?
No.
But how do you
A
end up with
chef?
Because how do you end up with a sandwich shop? That's what I don't
I
understand.
got my hand in a lot of things.
Chef.
He has a sandwich place.
You don't have to be a chef
Yeah.
to make a good sandwich.
Joey Roses.
Was Tony a stripper? You own a strip club.
No, I'm just saying, like, normally if a guy
point.
has a sandwich spot, they had their hands in, like, making
No, I
food.
was
Because I'm
that-
thinking, we watch Sopranos and you make us gabagool.
He just likes to
and-
eat.
Guys, I'm dead. Let me pitch you this
Okay,
idea.
pitch it.
We should do a podcast.
Okay.
How about
where
no?
no, listen to this. This is a good idea.
We've been pitched this by real companies.
Okay.
And we said no. We're not
listen.
saying yes to you.
Let's
Are you crazy?
We're at a real company. We could do it here. I'm watching it. You're trying to convince me, no, this is good. Watch this with an open mind. You've never watched it. We should do that. That's a good idea.
And we eat while we watch it.
Because what you haven't been pitched is me sitting there as
Right.
the guy coming in
You're
going, as a
you're
skeptic.
what we were missing.
Oh my God! All right, I deserve that. Listen, I see. This is why I didn't feel bad telling Rob this. I felt bad telling you because
Why?
you have a luminous something about you is really great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You remind me of
nice
my
thing to
cousin
say.
Joni, if I'm being honest. Rob,
Now, was she your family in Sopranos or in real life?
In real life.
Joni?
Real cousin.
Okay.
No,
A real
not, she
cousin.
wasn't part of the soap family.
She Petey's cousin?
We are not mad at you. This is not a Sopranos podcast. We just
No, no,
happen
no,
to
I
be
know,
on it.
I know.
It's all
People,
good.
you know
I
how
know.
much shit I get saying like you're so disrespectful of Sopranos for not watching it. How could you not know that fucking this guy killed this guy? People get really fucking mad.
Really?
Yeah.
Why though? If you were, I don't understand.
Because I also sound like an idiot when I'm talking about it. Like people say something like so simple, and I'm like, oh, that happened, and it just gets people who are fans so angry.
But it's just mind blowing to me. Like when I told Vince Gilligan and Peter that I never watched Breaking Bad, and I was like, guys, I've never seen it. I don't have time. Like, I'm sorry. Like I told them mid podcast because I was like, I have to get this off my chest.
Yeah.
It's eating me alive.
This is what you do. You come on pods and tell people you haven't watched their show.
It honestly would be bothering. We would not be having
I've
this.
got an idea for you. You
What
go
is it?
on
I go
everyone's
on-
show and tell them you haven't watched their show. It's a good thing.
But no, it's if I didn't tell you guys that before we started, we wouldn't be having a fun episode
Yes.
right now. It'd be eating at me.
Right.
Yes.
If I was in charge of setting up the episode, it wouldn't be as fun as when you come in and make it magic.
No,
I got it.
that's not,
No,
that's
we
not
get
what I
it.
meant.
We
That's
get
not,
it.
you weren't this much of a smartass when you were at my thing.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
you pretended to be a fan at the thing.
No, I
You
didn't.
pretended to be a fan.
No, I didn't.
Joe, you pretended. You said you were a fan. No, no, you didn't.
I was like, wait, did I?
No,
That was
you
good.
didn't.
That was good acting.
See?
Where's that been?
I know.
The-
It was not on the show. If you only watched, even Jamie watched the first 5 seasons, she never saw me do one good scene. I had
do you
one
mean?
good scene. I had one good
What
scene
are you
on the
talking
show
about? What do
in
you
7
mean?
years. And Jamie didn't
I
even
thought
get
you
to
were.
it.
I thought you were good on the show. I'm not just saying that. The stuff I've
thanks.
seen you do, I thought you were good. I remember the storyline where you need drugs and Michael Imperioli buys you the drugs, and I like that one.
See, I never knew that happened, and people got mad that I didn't know that she did meth on Sopranos.
It was wild. It was now. This is me being nitpicky. This is not me being nitpicky about The Sopranos.
Okay.
This is how I get though when I watch things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like watching him buy you the drugs, and I'm like, "What? You would never do this. This guy's putting his life in jeopardy right now." And the average person, I think, and that's a fault of mine. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying it's a problem I have. And
I don't think it's a problem.
well, I think to enjoy TV or whatever or an experience, you don't do
You
that.
have to allow it.
Yeah,
see,
you
I
go
think-
Well, because you
this
have
is
to
gonna-
understand, he would this. It's showing you he would risk his life for the Don's daughter,
Right.
Like to get her the good, clean drugs, so she's
Jamie,
not going.
He doesn't get the show. He just doesn't get it.
That makes
I'll stop.
Jamie, that makes wait. No, you just
Maybe
made it
we
make
do have
sense
to
me.
watch the show with you to explain
Maybe,
it to you.
maybe
This
we
is
need
what
to
I'm
watch it
saying.
with you.
Huh?
I need to hold your hand and watch it with
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh, so she gets clean stuff so she doesn't die. See, I didn't even pick up on that. I was just like, what is this guy? Nuts?
you. Because she went and asked him for it.
Yeah.
So if they find out that she went and asked him for it, he said no, and then she got the dirty shit and died, he'd get in trouble either way.
It gave me such anxiety. I would have went to Tony and said, your daughter asked me for drugs. She wants to do drugs. You need to do something.
Well, that's the
about it."
thing. These are not honorable, smart people. Do you know what I
That's the
mean?
part
These
I'm
are not the
missing.
people you're watching. The new year for many people means resolutions to save money. So stop shopping without getting anything in return. Start getting cash back on every purchase you make with Ibotta. Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items, from groceries to beauty supplies to toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $145 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, buy that flight you've been eyeing, that game you're dying to go to, or the fancy dinner you've been craving. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code NOTTODAY when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code NOTTODAY. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code NOTTODAY. If I asked you how many subscriptions you have, would you be able to list all of them and how much you're paying? If you would have asked me this question before I started using Rocket Money, I would have said yes, but let me tell you, I would have been so wrong. I can't believe how many I had and all the money I was wasting. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills. I can see all of my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, I can cancel it with a tap. I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/nottoday. That's rocketmoney.com/nottoday. rocketmoney.com/nottoday. The best way to learn a language? Immersion, living where the language is spoken and using it every day. But if that's not in the cards this year, you can still learn a language the second best way, and that's with Babbel. Be a better you in 2024 with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. My 103-year-old grandmother only speaks Spanish, and let me tell you how Babbel has helped me enrich our conversations even more. Babbel is designed by real people for real conversations. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get 50% off a one-time payment for a lifetime Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/pal. Get 50% off at babbel.com/pal, spelled BABBEL.com/pal. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Wait, you want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
This guy, Lev, is my favorite. This is my favorite. I swear to God, it's my favorite show business story of all time, and it's from the Sopranos Dinner Theater show. This guy, Lev, was playing...
So it's just your favorite story of all time.
Yeah, just a regular story. This guy, Lev, was playing the Petey character, and again, it was probably quite offensive by today's standards. You wore a boa and all this shit. It was ridiculous. But he was playing. I wasn't there, and he filled in and did the character. And when I came back, he was gone. The next week, he was gone from the show, and I was like, "What happened?" So he was playing Petey, and there was a guy from Northeast Philly, this like Ginzo dude, like from Northeast Philly, riding, like Lev was working the table, and he's going, "Oh, come here, sweetheart. Look, come here. Let me give you a little kiss, my little sugar plum." You know, like all that, right? He keeps doing it. Lev breaks character, leans down into the guy's ear, and goes, "Hey, buddy, this is just a show. In real life, I'll beat the fucking shit out of you." And the guy got up and told on him, and they fired Lev on the spot. They made him leave the show, and they had to finish the show without him. And that character's pivotal. So they had to give...
They had to quick improv, give somebody else the role.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing I've ever heard of a human being doing in my life. It's so funny.
So we before we go, something that we like to do on the show is this cup here is just full of a bunch of questions. So we have the guest pull one, and then before they leave, they write one to put in for we pull it at a later time. You never know when we might pull your question. So if you don't mind pulling one and see if it's my handwriting, sometimes it's a struggle to read. So let me know if you need some assistance.
It looks a little chicken scratchy.
Yeah, that's me.
What does your YouTube homepage look like?
So what's your algorithm looking like? Like when you open up YouTube, like for me, I get I get like poker, podcasts, and then like for some reason, like I just love skateboarding. Like I love watching dudes fucking do like crazy tricks skateboarding, even though I can't skateboard.
This is a good first date question.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a really, I mean, if somebody asked me that, I'd be like, what are we doing? What are we in an interview? But it is that's a good way to get to know somebody a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me think for a second.
Jamie, what do you?
I don't
what
watch
about you?
YouTube.
You don't?
That's
At
so
all?
crazy to me.
How come?
I don't know.
Wow.
I just don't.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
I don't really have an answer. My kids love it.
Anti-YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm
What do you-
such a fucking.
My kids watch like trick
90%.
shots.
I'm like 90% YouTube.
I watch it more than anything now.
Yeah, it's just. Do you have the premium? Do you do
Do I
premium?
have a thing on my nose? Is that what you just
No,
did there?
my nose is running and I'm making sure because every time I don't wipe it for like 30 minutes, I get in my car and I see I have like a white ring
hate
and I'm
it,
like,
yeah.
nobody told me.
Yeah.
So I'm self-conscious.
You're a lady.
That's all.
We can't say that kind
Thanks.
of stuff.
I started to watch it all the time once I realized there was television level
Yeah.
stuff
Right.
on it.
I'm watching a thing now of a guy who's making a rainforest like in his house. And he's just building a full-on rainforest. Like it's the crazy, and he's like, yeah, there's war between the fucking ants, right? And I go home every night. I watch this guy like
Holy shit.
full production, like gorgeous camera work. He introduces like new life into the rainforest like every week. Like he'll put like fucking tarantulas in there, and it's crazy.
that's wild.
It's crazy.
How big's the room?
It's massive. Like the thing is bigger than this. Like the tank that it's in. It's like full.
Oh, it's just a tank.
Yeah.
I thought you meant he had a room, like a literal room.
No, but it's like a. Can you look on YouTube just to see like how big it's like? What is it called? He calls it something. The planetarium, not planetarium. It's like something. I don't know. Rainforest Guy. It's fucking.
Okay.
But there's just so much great shit. Do you have the premium? I only got the premium like fucking 6 months ago because one of my buddies was like, "You fucking still watch ads on YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah, what do you mean?" And I did it for 1
Yeah.
month. Now I could never go back. Once
No.
you do no ads, it's fucking insane.
No, I have the premium. I stay on YouTube. I go
Yeah.
to sleep to YouTube almost every
Oh, every night. Look at the fucking.
Hold on, I can't. Hold on.
This guy is fucking
wow.
awesome.
Wow.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's awesome. What is yeah, you got to see him like walk up to it so he could. What's the name of this guy's YouTube channel so we give him a little shout out?
Built a giant cloud rainforest.
The
Bavarian.
channel's called Ants Canada.
Ants Canada.
Yeah, it is 5.2 million subscribers.
Yeah, I mean this guy's awesome. What he's doing, and then like not only does he build this whole thing, but then he goes in with these like, I don't know how he does the camera work where it's like these fucking he gets like ants at war inside of the fucking tree trunk, and like he wanted to introduce everything, but then he put that tree trunk in there from like outside, and it turned out that there was like a ant nest in there, so there was already a bunch of ants. It's like a whole dramatic thing this guy does. It's pretty incredible,
Oh, that's awesome.
and the camera work is insane, and like the storytelling, he actually does a really, like Jamie says, I have a lot of time on my hands.
It's so funny when you're like, because I just bought a house, and it's not the biggest house, but it's certainly plenty big for me. You know, I'm single, I don't have kids, whatever. So it's more space than I've ever had, and it's so funny when you're like trying to figure out like, what should I do with this room?
Right.
And you're like, oh, I guess I could build a rainforest if you.
There you
know,
go.
the possibilities
Yeah.
There's the warring ants.
So what's your YouTube algo? What do they feed in you when you open up YouTube?
Well, there's always a healthy amount of video game stuff
Oh, okay.
because I collect. I'm a big media file, so I collect. I just was at Waterloo Records today, and I bought like 6 albums. So I buy a lot of physical media.
So like vintage video game videos on YouTube?
Yeah, a lot of like just I follow a lot of channels. Cinemassacre and Metal Jesus Rocks, and there's a bunch of guys I follow. So I always have a lot of video game content coming through, where it's like, whether it's somebody streaming some vintage retro game, or stuff like where it'll be like, there's a brand new game out for the Sega Genesis. These indie creators just made it, and whatever.
Right.
So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of interviews with often celebrity interviews, but not celebrity interviews like it's not like clips from Fallon.
Right.
Right.
It's like it'll be like Nora Ephron on like Charlie Rose, because I'll get obsessed with a person. I got obsessed with
wow.
Nora Ephron this year. I was always a fan, but I got locked on.
I don't
her.
even know who that is. Can you Google that?
Amazing writer, director, passed
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Sleepless in
in
Seattle,
peace.
right?
Oh, okay.
She made Sleepless. She made You Got Mail.
Oh, okay.
She made Heartburn, or she wrote Heartburn. She when Harry
Harry
Met
Met
Sally,
Sally.
she wrote.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I gotta see that.
She's an incredible writer. So I started downloading her audiobook. She's very funny. So she wrote a lot of, I guess essays over the years. I guess you'd call them essays, but they were published in like the New Yorker and I guess
Yeah.
stuff like that. But they're really funny. They're really, really funny. And
Yeah.
she's really funny as a writer. And she's my favorite kind of writer because it's very simple, it's very direct, but it's very funny.
Yeah.
It's very colorful, but she's not
She's not trying.
jerking herself off,
No.
for lack of a better way of putting it. But anyway, so there'll be like a lot of interviews like that. And then there's always videos of how to turn your van into a house because
Right.
I'm terrified that I will be without a home one day.
Living in a van.
So I'm
Yeah.
always like, how much would it cost? Just so I'm always like,
That's how you stay grounded.
just to have it.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
much would it cost me to buy a van, turn it into a house, and just put it over there somewhere?
Yeah.
Just so I have it.
Responsible.
Just in case. Yeah.
I always
Tiny
realize-
house videos. There's always
Those
so
are
many.
good. I
Yeah.
always realize what a pussy I am where I'm like, man, it must be scary living it. And there's always like some, 19-year-old girl who's like, yeah, I live in my van and I surf and I this. I'm like, wow, that seems like. She's like, yeah, I sleep in a Walmart parking lot. I'm like, holy shit.
I
Like,
saw a girl who did it who had like, she had like a health. She wasn't, she was healthy enough to maintain living in the van, but she had like, she was talking about she had a colostomy bag. She had, she had issues to deal with, and she still.
well, that's easy because then you just open the van door and toss it right. It's easy to.
But I was like, okay, people are doing this that have bigger uphill battles than other people. So I was like, it's doable. You
Yeah.
can live in a goddamn van.
Yeah.
If you really
Really need
want
to.
to.
Yeah. Listen, we really appreciate
Thank
you
you
coming
so
on.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
so
thank
much.
You for having
It's
me.
awesome.
Yeah.
This was so fun. I really enjoyed the both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks
And
for
hope to
being
see you again.
the
Yeah.
first one to
Yeah.
tell
Love
us
it.
they didn't like Sopranos. It's good. We need
Maybe this is
We found him.
This is the history. This
yeah,
is the one that
this
goes
is
down
just
in
the
history.
this is just the beginning. Now everyone's gonna come in and be like,
That's right.
Joe finally spoke for all of us. We all hate it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
the Malcolm X
Good
of.
for you.
Everyone's just been lying.
Oh, can I plug my tour?
Of
Yeah,
course, please.
please.
Sorry, yeah. I thought plugging taste buds was enough, but fine.
No, I'm on. We plugged the sandwich shop, Joey Rose's, Rivington Street, 174 Rivington, New York, New York. JoeyRoses.com. Come see us. But I'm on tour right now. My new hour. It's called "I Never Promised You a Rose Garden." February, San Diego, LA, San Fran. Get your tickets. I've got more dates after that throughout the spring. JoeDeRosa.com. Please come see me and let's have fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if you're in New York, go to the sandwich shop because the sandwiches look fucking.
They look
They look
amazing.
legit.
Yeah.
look very good.
All right. Please. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.